Yeah, but the one with Daddy Wally though is it's gonna make you look at Daddy Wally very differently. You know what I'm saying, Candy? That's one you could skip. Yeah, that's one you could. Yeah, that's one you could skip. You know. Bula Bula, welcome on in. The way I walked a total of almost 3.5 miles for the Starbies, bro. If that ain't the most basic shit, bro. But good shit. Get them fucking walks in, man. Get them fucking walks in. Aló. Aló, se encuentra Bula. Aló. All right, so I mean, we're still waiting on Carly. I'm in no rush to start. You know what I'm saying? We're here, we're vibing, we're talking. I want to know how everybody's week's been. Yesterday I didn't stream because earlier in the day I was playing I've been playing football with my nephew pretty much every day. My nephew has expressed that he wanted to join his school's football team. So what I've been doing is every day I've been practicing with him for, 1 to 2 hours. And it's been a dope ass experience, like a nice bonding experience between me and him. And it's also very cool to see him improve because when we first started, because he stepped away from the game of football for a good 3 years. He stepped away from it because he used to play football, but because he stepped away from football for a few years, he hasn't been moving around much. So he gained a little weight. You know what I'm saying? You put on a little weight. He is a mouse and keyboard kid, so he's always sitting down playing his games and whatnot. But yeah, so we started playing football. He's losing weight, helping me lose weight at the same time. And the last time we were playing, he was like, "Yo, Ricky, have you noticed that I don't get tired anymore, or I don't have to take as many water breaks as I used to?" And that shit makes me feel good. I was like, "Yo, that's dope, bro. I'm glad you feel that way." So my arm is good. My arm feels good now, but I don't know what happened yesterday. When I threw the first pass to him, I don't know what I did. But as soon as that ball left my hand, I was like, "Oh, I didn't like how that feel. I did not like how that felt." And I was like, so then throughout for the rest of the day, I was throwing the football with him. And I don't know, by the end of it, when we were done playing, I just felt I just felt this weird pain on my elbow, in my elbow area. So I came home and I was like, you don't really feel it while you're playing. You start feeling the pain once everything, once you stop playing and your muscles start getting cold and stuff. And so I was laying in my bed and I was like, I don't feel like streaming because my arm hurts. But then after that, I was like, I'm gonna just hang out in Discord. So I was in Discord. We were watching some anime, and I ended up playing some Fortnite with Bula, Flash, and Shin. Yo, Rat Queen, how we feeling, Rat Queen? Give me a number. I know we're going through it right now, Rat Queen. So how we feeling? Give me a number, Queen. Yo, bro. Yeah. First of all, shithead, you need to chill out with that, shithead. All right, you need to chill out. Okay, because I was out here, bro. During my nephew's birthday, I was out here burning the fuck out of these 18-year-olds, bro. Like these little 18-year-old kids and shit over here, man. They were like, they call one of them called me old head, and when he called me old head, I was like, I want you to guard me. Ain't no way you fucking calling me old head yet. I know, technically I'm an old head, bro. I'm about to be 40. So technically I'm an old head, but man, when I tell you that I had that boy gasping for air by the end of the night, man. Pause, because that sounded wrong, but you know what I mean. Like he couldn't guard me, man. He couldn't guard me, man. I was proud of myself. I was like, shit, man. I was like, we out here, man. We still out here. We're still moving, bro. Yo, X. Yo, tell me Ratchet and Clank wasn't such a freaking fun platinum, bro. Ratchet and Clank, bro. That was my first. That was my first Ratchet and Clank ever, bro. The new one. Well, what's the new one called? Ratchet and Clank. You're about to come. Rift Apart. Yeah, Rift Apart. That was my first Ratchet and Clank ever, bro. Yo, what a fun game, bro. It was such a fun game to plat. Yo, I got invited. Let me tell you something, guys. I got invited into this. You guys know One Speed. One Speed occasionally comes in here. He hangs out with us and whatnot. He's a platinum hunter too, One Speed. But I got invited into this. I guess like this platinum trophy hunters chat in Twitter. And everybody's there talking about like, what trophies they're going for next, what they feel like their most proudest platinum trophies are and stuff like that. It was cool. It was cool. It's a very cool chat, and everybody talks. It's a dope ass chat. Anyways, this past week, Maddie Braun just got the platinum to Kina Bridge of Spirits. All right, we love Maddie Braun here. You know what I mean? I'm the one that redeemed it. I was like, yo, Maddie, this game is so fucking good. You gotta play it, man. Like it's gonna take you for a ride though. Like you don't expect this game to be this good. So as soon as Maddie got the platinum, Maddie hit up the chat at like 3:00, and he was like, yo, I just got this a few hours ago, man. Like I did not think this game was gonna be that hard. And so I started talking with Maddie, and we were like, we were talking to each other. I was like, yo, how many hours did it take you? He was like, it took me about 4 streams. And so we were talking about, and then somebody in the chat was like, did you end up doing the glitch? And I completely forgot about the glitch, right? Until they brought it up. And that's the same glitch you're taught that you did, X, right? That you did. And he was like, yo, did you end up doing the glitch? And Maddie was like, glitch? What glitch? I wasn't aware about it. And he was like, yeah, it's this glitch where like, you could literally... He was like, yo, it's literally this glitch that like you could pretty much skip all of the game on mastery difficulty, right? And Maddie was like, oh shit, like if I would have known that existed, I would have, probably tried to do it and stuff. And then I was like, wait, y'all, like, yeah, you guys are, and mind you, these are guys that have done, hold on a second.
Well, the table broke.
So these are people that have gotten like, platinum trophies to like, some Soulsborne's games like Demon Souls and stuff like that. So like, I'm like, okay. So then they're like, as soon as that guy mentioned the exploit, like 4 or 5 people came in. They started talking about the exploit and how they did it and stuff. And I was like, yeah, but are y'all really happy with yourselves that you did the exploit to get the platinum trophy? And bro, I started Yo, I started a fucking war in that damn channel by saying that. When I tell you I started a war in that channel for saying shit like that, bro, I was like, because I came in, right? I was like, bro, like, you know, it's a difficulty trophy. So the game is meant to be played on that difficulty. Like, you know, you guys really feel proud of that platinum that you got by doing the exploit? Bro, when I said that they were trying to come for my neck, I was like, yo, y'all could say anything you want to me about shit, but I always play games on the hardest difficulty, and I'm, you know what I mean? Like, and you know what? I'll be the first one to say this. Yo, Platinum Serpent, what's good, man? Welcome on in. Thank you for the follow, the offline follow, by the way. So, I was like, I'll be the first one to say this. I hate difficulty-based trophies. Like, I hate that they make that a thing. You know what I mean? And I'm not gonna say hate. I dislike it even worse if it's a difficulty that you have to unlock, that you can't just start off. You know what I mean? Which Kina. What's good, Manny? Kina, when it first came out, Kina was like that. You couldn't play master difficulty right off rip. You had to beat the game once completely, and then you would unlock master difficulty. So I was like, so when I spoke in that chat, and I was like, yo, I'm the first person to tell you I hate difficulty-based trophies. I hate trophies that force you to play the game more than one playthrough. But at the same time, if a game requires you to play it, you know, if there is a difficulty-based trophy, play the game on that difficulty. Don't just, you know, do an exploit or whatever. Yo, the amount of heat I got from that chat, bro. The amount of heat. Like, well, I mean, it's not really a glitch if it's in the game. Like, if it's in the game, you know, if it's in the game, if it's an exploit, then that's on the developers. Like, let them patch it up. You know, in my opinion, it ain't cheating. This and that, bro. I was getting so much heat, and I was like, yo, yeah. I mean, whatever helps y'all sleep at night. I'm just saying. Like, come on, like, you know what I'm saying? I got so much heat, man. Serpent is from Rob's stream. I told him to check you out. He's doing Crash 4, right? Yo!
You sound like Twitter right now.
Zoo! A special friend. Thorin, thank you so much, man. Thank you for the 950, man. How you been? Thank you for the congrats on the plus program. I literally couldn't have done it without y'all. So thank you, everybody. And again, reminder, everybody that's a tier 3 sub to me right now, please go back to a tier 1. There should be no reason why you're paying $25 to watch me and you won't even, like, you know, and you don't even have a Netflix subscription. So please, spend that money on another creator or get yourself a Netflix subscription, or maybe Hulu, because Hulu's coming out with some bomb shit. Just saying, Hulu's coming out with some bomb ass shit. So, you know what I mean? But going back to what Menchie said. Menchie, I only played maybe a total of. I played only 2 hours of Dark Descendant. I had fun with it. I mean, not Dark Descendant, First Descendant. I played a total of 2 hours. I was playing with Duff. So guys, if you want to just, subscribe to Duff's OnlyFans, please do so. But I was playing with Duff. So I guess having Duff as company, I had a lot of fun with First Descendants. I do see, like, I don't think it's a game that I could play for a long time. It's probably one of those games that's going to end up being like another Destiny to me, where like in the beginning, they come out with all this good content and they keep up with it well for like the first 2 months. And then after those 2 months, it takes them like a whole nother year to release content. So you're just playing over and over again. I don't see myself playing it that much, Menchie, but I had fun while I was playing it with Duff. And also, yo, Serpent, how we looking so far? I don't know if Serpent is still here. I don't want to call Serpent out from lurking and whatnot, but like, how far are you into Crash 4, bro? Because I'm doing that too. I'm having a lot of fun with Crash 4. Trophy wise, I only need 10 more, which are like, just like doing all the tapes. I guess complete all the timelines. I don't know what that is. But yeah, some of like the longer ones. You only got 3 relics left to do, and wait, how you have less trophies than me if you have only 3 relics less to do? Cause I where am I at? Let's check where I'm at, guys. Let's check where I'm at. I got a good amount of relics to still do.
Activision.
Oh, you haven't done perfect. I thought when you said I got 3 relics left to do, I thought you meant you only had 3 perfect relics left to do. That's what I. Oh, okay. Understood. All right. Now we're here, Serpent. All right. So, perfect relics done. I think I have. What do I have? Let's see. I still have a good amount to do, bro. That's how it's looking so far. So I got 14 perfect relics left to do. I haven't done any of the time trial yet. Time trials I'm leaving for last. I haven't done any of the time trials. I need a few of the regular gems left. I need 20 regular gems. I need a good amount of the inverted gems. The tapes, I've done 15 of 15. I've done all my tapes. Oh, actually, no. I unlocked the tape, so I still have to do one more of all this. But this is where I've done like 3 tapes and 5 perfects. Okay. All right, man. Yo, I wish you a lot of luck and a lot of patience, bro. I still have not reached the whole, like, I don't rage when it comes to games. I could honestly say, like, I'm good with that. Like, I never really rage when it comes to games. I have this condition though called trigger finger. I don't know if you are familiar with trigger finger, but I actually developed it while playing Sekiro because of the haptic feedback. From the the trigger buttons. But basically, trigger finger is inflamed tendons in your hand. All right, and when your hand has inflamed tendons, sometimes when you go to like close your hands and stuff, your hands lock on you. So like, even though you're trying to open your hands, you can't open your hands. So your hands get like, you know what I mean? The first time around, you know what I mean? The first time around when I tried playing this, I I beat the game all the way through, and I got a couple of things done and a couple of tapes done. But then after that, like, the trigger finger was really acting up. You know what I mean? Like, really acting up. So I took a break from the game. And when I mean I took a break from the game, I took a two-year long break, because the last time I played Crash was like almost 2 years ago. And then I recently started playing this again because a friend of mine, Matty Braun, who I also redeemed for him to get this platinum, was using me as an excuse, because Matty was like, well, Rick, if you're not going to put yourself through it, then why am I going to put myself through it, right? So, you know, I was like, all right, Matty. So I'm trying to get this platinum as fast as I can, so that Matty has no excuse to use it against me. If you don't follow Matty Braun, Platinum Serpent, he's another person you should follow. He actually has he's more of a platinum hunter than I am, because he literally has like channel point redemptions where depending on like the hour it takes to get the platinum, it depends on the amount of channel points you have to waste. But basically he has channel point redemptions where you, the viewer, could redeem a game that he has to platinum. So he's definitely dope. Can we get you know what, I'll shout out Matty Braun.
What the penis? What the penis? I never worked the penis. I never worked the penis. Work the penis. I never worked the penis.
Thank you, Lael. I hope your headache, doesn't persist throughout the night. I hope you get better. Thank you so much for the 1050 on the bits. I appreciate you, Queen. We're gonna shout out Matty Braun. That's the homie. Right now playing Persona 3 and trying to get the platinum to that. So, but guys, so yeah, I don't really consider myself a platinum hunter, Serpent. What typically happens is games that I end up playing, I end up trying to platinum them because I enjoy the game so much. I'm not the person that's gonna buy that $3.99 indie game just because there's an easy platinum trophy and I try to get the trophies for that. No, the games that I usually play here are AAA titles. I do play some indie games, like I got the platinum trophy to Hollow Knight. I got the platinum trophy to there's several indie games out there that I've gotten the platinum trophy to, but that's because I genuinely enjoy the games. But yeah, man, welcome in, man. Yo, Serpent, are you a streamer yourself, by the way, if you don't mind me asking? Rob's been able to raid Maddie on his morning streams a couple of times on Thursdays. Oh, that's dope. Yeah, that's right. That's right. On Thursdays, Maddie streams early morning. So, okay. I'm staying up for another few hours so I can call the... What's the MIL? And make sure he let... Oh, okay. Then I'm gonna go and pass out. Okay, understood, Leo. Understood. Leo, how's the garden coming out, by the way? Yo, guys, my tattoo is looking fucking amazing. It's healing very well. I like where it lands on the arm. So I already got this trophy. I mean, not this trophy. I already got this. This one is already. I could actually show you what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna show you what I'm gonna do. So what's going over here, right? What's going on this part of my arm? All right, because you see over here is Majin Buu, Kid Buu, right? And over here you see, you know, regular Saiyan Saga Vegeta. Okay, so I figured what would be best to go over here would be Majin Vegeta. So I'm doing this in between those two arms. It's gonna be this one. So that he is gonna go in between the two of them right here. He's gonna go all the way up to my elbow pretty much. So he's gonna go in between them right there because it makes sense. It's like a fusion of the both. And then hopefully during that same session, I am going to get Perfect Cell done. No, where's Perfect Cell? Wait, where's my Perfect Cell? All right, well, I'm gonna get Frieza done. If you guys don't know Dragon Ball Z, Frieza is my favorite character ever in DBZ. So Frieza is gonna be up here, and in this moment is right before he kills Krillin, which then pretty much, you know, eventually makes Goku turn into Super Saiyan for the first time ever. So again, all the moments that are getting on my arms are iconic moments. All right, so there's that one. That one's gonna be probably on the outside because I like Frieza a lot. And damn, where is my Perfect Cell though? I mean, I could show it to y'all from my phone, I guess. I don't know if it's gonna. I don't know if it's gonna look good, but. And then that is Perfect Cell flying at you guys. So that's gonna be probably on the inside of my arm. So I got big things planned for my manga sleeve. Okay. Have we heard from Carly at all, guys? I haven't been looking at the Discord. Oh, she's home? All right, so I'll meet you guys in Titty Park. Yeah, what's good, Queen?
Yeah. Chilling. Ready to play some games.
Hell yeah. Okay. All right, so let me go. Hmm. Oh damn! I forgot my character looked like Wendy's. All right, so everything's still good.
I don't remember what character I have.
I think last time I saw you was it ice cream? No, you wore an ice cream.
He is loading. Oh, I'm a donut.
Oh yeah, yeah.
I want the cotton candy outfits. Gotta find them.
Maybe we could look it up and see where, like, where we could find it.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, that style crate.
Oh, hi.
It's a style crate, but like, is it a specific one or the style crates? It doesn't matter what order you get them.
I think it may be a specific area, like for them like that, possibly.
I'm searching.
Yo, Magic, yeah, what's good, Queen? How we doing, Magic?
I have them all online. I'll steal your outfit right now, Candy.
You better don't.
I got my girl over here.
You're so cute.
She doesn't. You know, she never looks at the camera when the camera's full. When the camera's.
Ay, Manuel, ando bien ganosa, mi chiquitito. Yo sé que voy a aguantar, Manuel. Ya me estoy comiendo el cevichito con mucho camaroncito, mi Manuel. Te amo, pa.
Oh, did your camera freeze?
No, just yeah, my camera froze. I'll fix that up though. You guys hear me? Yeah, my camera froze. My camera froze. I'm trying to turn it off and turn it back on.
It was too much cuteness.
There we go. All right. Yo, I told you I was gonna put that on for you, bro. You was like, yo, this is a fucking deal breaker. If you don't put this on, we're not friends anymore. I was like, fuck, I gotta put this on.
Hey, look!
Oh.
That's just the most beautiful thing I've ever seen in my
That's
life.
a look.
It's gorgeous. It's gorgeous. Beautiful.
What the hell?
Yeah, don't ask questions, bro. What happened? You gotta go outside? Hmm? No, you already went outside. Okay. Where
So
is...
this looks like it's telling me where all the locations for the crates are, but not like specifically what the crate is.
what it contains. Gotcha. Okay.
Right.
Not good. You would think that the cotton candy outfit would be in the candy world.
You would
Yeah.
think so.
I guess that's too obvious though.
Oh shit! I haven't even. Oh,
Yeah,
I
it took a
thought I was
long-
late for my pizza, but it's just getting here. So
It took like to the, I don't know, I want to say the end of the game for me to unlock the different colors for this outfit that I have. Or else I'd
What's the
just do
character's name? Maybe that will help in my
the
search.
character's name.
Coworker. Oh, they don't have names. I thought they had names.
Oh, they should have names.
They have names whenever they pop up, but I don't see it like when I'm looking at
No,
coworkers.
yeah.
basically all different shades of pink, all the cotton candies.
That's all I need in my life.
I'll wait till you're in here and then I'll make you look at it.
Yo, Steven. Pizza is literally pulling up to the crib. Like it's coming up the block. Hey there,
How'd
I'm
you
on.
show your fucking address?
What happened?
How'd you show your address?
Nah, you can't see my address.
I saw it. I'm on my way.
All right, come through. There's gonna be a lot of meat for you here, though. I'm just letting you know right now.
Can't wait.
That's
Everyone knows the Addy. It's outside.
What the hell was I? Shit, I forgot what character I was. Oh, I was the frog one that looked like. Like Wendy's. Okay.
Oh yeah.
That's true. Everybody does know the Addy. We outside. Hello? Oh damn. Okay, my bad. I guess the DoorDash driver saw Prez walking out. He hung up on me quick.
No. I should probably pack a move.
If I were to like, let's say if like, you know, like if I were to play, because you know how it makes you pick a saved game file.
Mm-hmm.
If we all don't have the same saved game, what happens?
Then you would just pick a. What do you mean? Like you'd pick an empty game?
Let's say I decided to like, while we weren't playing, I decided to go back in the game and like by myself try to like complete stars that we couldn't complete, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then and then when we all meet up again and it tells us to pick a same file, like what if all the save files aren't the same? Then what happens?
No, we'll still be on yours. It won't matter.
But will you guys see all the completed stars and stuff too, or no?
I mean, when you look at them, but if you went to your own game, like you were the host, you wouldn't see them.
Ah.
But like if they're in the game with you, yeah, they would see whatever you see.
And like, what if
I've done this game. This is my 5th time doing this game.
So
basically.
what if like while I was going back and getting stars, I go up a fart level. Like let's say I'm fart level 11 and the rest of you guys are 10. And then when we all party up and we pick the save file, are you guys still going to be 10 or are you guys going to go up to 11 with me?
I think we go up to 11 because it would go based off of whoever the host is.
Yeah, we're just whatever you are.
So my save file is gonna just link up to yours.
Yeah.
So would that be like a cheesy way to like help someone get a trophy? Like let's say like I already have.
No, because I don't think unless I'm actually there, am I gonna get the achievement?
Yeah, that's where it'll mess up. It'll mess up the achievements for sure. This game is buggy when it comes to achievements. Like for the other players not getting some of the trophies.
I think in-game, like, it would link up all the in-game stuff, but anything that's, like, reported outside of the game will only trigger, like, if you're actually there playing when it happens.
Like, last time I platinumed it with my buddy, he got booted during a game, and there's a achievement at the end of every place. And he didn't get that achievement when we completed all the levels. So we went back and tried to find whatever level, like, he didn't have a star or something in, and it just didn't exist. It still showed him all the stars because he was on my thing. Then he went and played by himself on the same save file, and it still showed him the star, but no achievement. So we had to play it again as him as host. up until that point for him to get that trophy to finally get the platinum, which was like an extra.
So moral of the story: don't play on this file without us.
I haven't. I haven't touched the file at all. I was just, theoretically, just wondering like what would happen if. But I haven't touched. I don't touch this game unless I'm playing with y'all.
We're frying it too?
They could still vote.
What else? What are we doing?
They won't vote for
You
you.
move
But they may vote for them.
mountains.
I already have all the trophies. I don't get any achievements.
When you move mountains.
Between hers and yours, the big back though, that big back. You know the guy that made the song came out with merch for that.
Oh my God! Really?
Yeah, I'll send you the link because I'll send you the IG because Prez sent it to me. He found the actual guy that like started the song and stuff, and I guess like Big Backtivities like ran wild with it. So I mean, pretty much he's almost as big as Haktua.
I love it.
Yeah.
It's definitely spreading. I've been hearing people say Big Back, and I like hadn't heard that until you guys were talking about it.
When I first heard it from Prez, but it was called Big Back Activities, like Big Back Activities, right? And then little by little, when it started like catching on, like they just took like they took the back and activities and just put backtivities, like they made it together into one.
Yeah.
And now it's Big Backtivities. And it's a term that's being used all over the place too, because like I follow like this one fitness trainer, right? This one like and he was like, "Yo, you want to get rid of your big fucking back? Then stop eating this shit." And like he'll, like he talks like that. Like if like I'll dead ass send you something, and he'd be like, "Yo, the reason why you can't get rid of your big ass fucking back is because of this." Like he just be sending
I need a trainer like that.
Yo, like let me send them to you right now. Hold on a second. While we're waiting on Carly, hold on. Lurking in the shadows. Thank you for the lurk, Bula Bula. And now I gotta find them because I send so much shit.
I had to watch your reels in like 3 separate sessions today.
I don't think I even got through them yet.
Sorry, guys.
Don't apologize. It makes me feel loved.
I'm not complaining.
That's pebbling. You know what pebbling is?
No, what's that?
So pebbling is penguins do this. You know how penguins are creatures that like they're probably one of like the few monogamous creatures out there. So once they find a partner that they truly like, what they do is they bring them pebbles, and they give the people that they like pebbles.
So cute.
So yeah, sending reels is like the new pebbling. Like you know I fucks with you if I'm sending you reels.
if I send you reels, that's real though. Cause it says I've thought about you. Like this reminded me of you enough that I wanted you to see it as well.
Nah, you fucking sent me today when you was like, "Yo, this is my fucking fairy godmother."
I fucking love that bitch. I was dying.
Almost messed up. I was about to play with a broke controller.
Oh no. Oh, speak also about penguins and pebbles. There's this old ass movie, The Penguin and the Pebble, or The Pebble and the Penguin, or some shit.
Yeah,
One of those.
yeah.
And they're so cute. It's like off.
My daughter used to watch that.
It's like a Fern Gully, like not big brand movie, but it was so cute.
Pebble and the Penguin. That's what it was
Yeah.
called.
I'm in the game and stuff whenever y'all are ready. Also, thank you for waiting for me.
No,
Sorry
it's
I was
alright.
late.
All
No,
right,
you're fine. We
so
just been talking
I sent
shit.
it to both you
Talking shit
and
about me?
Carly.
Not about you.
I'm
Never.
good.
First of all, ma'am, calm down. I would never.
Sorry, I'm ready to fight.
That road
Really?
rage.
She feisty. I need you to take a hit, please.
Okay, so I sent the trainer that I'm talking about to you and Carly.
Oh, good idea.
But
Okay.
yeah. He starts it all. The reason why your back is white as fuck is because of, like, he just be on some shit. I love it though.
He's beautiful. Holy shit.
But the way he talks, it's like you understand. It's none of that like, oh, I'm gonna spit all this like long ass big words that you don't understand that you have to
Yeah.
look up. No, I'll tell you how it is, bro. Your back is big as fuck. He was like, the reason why your back is the size of a bullfrog is because of this, and like, you know, like he be going in.
Fucking bullfrog.
Also,
Built like a bullfrog.
I'm gonna get me pizza. I'll be back.
Oh, dead.
The pizza.
Built like a bullfrog.
Back like a fucking bull.
Oh, is it coming through my mic though?
You already know, number one on my list.
Oh, it is.
Yeah, I have to mute the stream. Gotta copy PlayStation. Definitely pick it up.
Okay. Boy, we stopped doing the candy one, right? We're going to the hat one.
Cat in the Hat.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Bro.
This one's got a little
Oh,
hidden.
great idea.
This one's got a hidden cave somewhere
Look how
too.
thick.
Oh my god.
Hey,
Shit
Look
is
at all
thick
that
as-
meat.
Yeah, it's a lot of.
I think I got pregnant. What?
Feed that in my mouth right now.
Not the glue time.
oh yeah, bite into it.
Oh my god.
All right.
There is a hidden box on this level, Rick, in like a cave somewhere that you can barely see on the west side of the map somewhere.
Oh, did I just crack an egg? Oh shit.
Yeah, you did. Scrambled
Go ahead.
eggs.
Yo, Flash, thank you for the sub, bro. Please take this warm heat,
Plaza,
or I
take
will
this
take your
warm heat,
cum.
or I will take your cum.
That is crazy.
Is that a threat though?
I mean, it doesn't really sound like a threat.
Look to the left, Rick. That's it right there.
Oh,
one.
I see the little purple right here.
Yeah.
Oh,
Not
let it be
aggressive
cotton
enough.
candy. Let it be cotton candy.
Oh,
What the fuck is that?
His name is Cam, so maybe he's a chameleon.
He's Cam and ugly. I'm mad.
When you wake up thirsty in the middle of the night.
Dead ass. Tongue out.
Yeah, it says reptilian blood.
Water! I need it.
Yo, Jack, welcome on in. Mercado, what's up? We do this one? No. What were the ones that we were working on? Oh,
I remember the last one
that's
we
a
did was
tricky
some
train.
devil shit.
2 open right now, it looks like.
And that's the... All right, so the 2 train ones we... And then what's this
I
one?
think
Another train one.
the bottom arrow is your home base. So it's one of those 2 top arrows, or the 2 middle.
Okay.
Oh, we have mail.
They got like another crate and an arcade cart on map too that you have to get to using like all them portals and stuff. Look up there with us.
Oh, shit.
Oh, there's a crate.
Yeah,
Aw,
I just
damn.
missed it. Hold on.
Oh, and you gotta be level 8 to get the arcade.
Oh, the new arcade game?
Yeah, we're 5 points away from level 8. 5 stars.
Acknowledge Crete.
Will it be the cotton candy?
Yo, Crit, how was your day at work, bro?
Nope, it's just Bruce, the koala.
How was your first week at work, man? I'm sorry, I didn't even hear the first time when you told me to put that in your mouth because I thought that was Flash. And anything said to me in an aggressive gay manner, I think it's Flash. Penny's port. Oh, this is a portal one.
Put it in her mouth slowly. Big Rick 37 sip.
You know what's crazy? That so the Sicilian pie that we just ordered is a normal size Sicilian pie, and it comes with 12 of these slices.
Bro.
12 of these fucking slices, bro. God, man. I've been eating 3 to 4 max, man. I'm trying to like not fall into temptation.
Same.
Bro, honestly, the only thing that I've seen recently look better than this fucking pizza is Carly in that fucking orange dress, bro.
Stop. Stop.
Oh, damn. So I don't like how this
I'm
looks.
not even going to the thing anymore. I'm
So you're
bummed.
gonna wear it in Chicago though, right?
I just wear that every day.
The whole time we're there.
What are we going to smash then? Ayo? Just our personal best? Wow. All right, so
We're in a barn.
the beetle takes you to the beetle. What are the things that we have to do? I see like a target thing on the wall. Is that one of the things we have to do?
There's 2 on here that are really hard.
I'm lost already.
Enter a second portal without touching the ground. Which I know how to do that one. But the 2 hard ones are complete the level using each portal only 1 time each. That's gonna be real difficult.
God.
And the other one is travel through every portal within 35 seconds.
How the fuck?
One person
I have
or
no
all 4 of us? Like I could take beetle, you could take, you know,
It don't say. I've never done either one of those, so I'm not really sure.
But you've done the 2 portals without touching the ground?
Yeah, that one's easy. It's just basically.
Is it this heart one, and then you jump into that orange one down there?
I think it's the orange one up to the heart one.
All right, since you've done it before, then I guess you do it.
That's basically right in front of us where we start. The diamond to the heart.
Yeah. All right, let's try this.
Yeah, let's just see how we can even get through this. Because a lot of these items are 2-player. They got to be thrown from certain areas. Some of the doors are spinning.
All right, so you're gonna try that.
Out? Oh.
I don't get it. Just keep going.
Oh, let me see. Let me try this. Can I do it?
Yeah. I got it right there. Where to put me at? I'm lost. Oh, here.
Oh wait, you can't.
Oh, it doesn't tell you what the stuff is.
Yeah, it does if you press triangle for PlayStation, the top button on the.
Oh, I was in the wrong button. I don't want to talk about it.
It's all right.
Oh.
You know what I don't like about this is that you can't rotate the camera. So,
yeah.
You can't bring the stuff in the portal?
No.
No. You have to throw it down from top to bottom.
Okay. I got my ham hock right here.
Okay, I'm gonna get a hernia right here. Okay. Oh. What the fuck? Oh, I need somebody to go into the square green one. Whoever's down the bottom, the square green one. There we go. And now we have to throw this. And then I guess he's got to take it down.
Oh, goodbye.
No, I fell. I fell. Where'd they put me at? Who's that keeps following with me? Keep going through that door at the wrong time. Alright,
Oh, whoever just went into the red portal. Ayúdame. Thank you. Oh, damn. Oh, that was good. Oh, we gotta go to the... Where is the other spade one?
you gotta do the moon, right? The blue square at the bottom, and then drop down to the moon to get to where I'm at.
I'm trying to get to the pink triangle so that I could get to the spade on top.
Oh, at the top left.
I'm gonna do this.
Up here. This is how you get to it, though, where I'm at. Go through the blue square. I'm gonna show you how to. Not that. That's the green.
Oh, I want to go here. Yeah. There we go. Now I'm back.
Oh, that's a diamond. Okay.
That's a diamond. That's a triangle.
I thought you meant the spade, the one under you. Okay, somebody's over here
the
with
spade,
me.
yeah, the spade is the one, yeah, that you guys are at. But I'm over here.
We gotta throw this.
There's another spade one up here.
No, don't fall off.
I have an unbreakable item, but oh shit.
Oh.
Yeah. No, don't fall. We got another one to throw.
Oh, did that go all the way to the bottom?
Sorry.
Yeah, let's go.
It sure did.
This one would break though. This one doesn't break.
Poor little porn.
Oh shit.
Oh yeah, you're gonna have to carry that one all the way down. You almost murdered Carly.
Rick,
Take
how many
the
times
take
over?
the blue square in the bottom left
Let's throw
corner,
Mhm.
and then drop down to the purple moon. And then when you gotta wait for the tower to rotate. See where I'm at? The tower, how it rotates. You gotta time
Oh,
it
bitch.
to where the door is facing this way instead of the water.
Oh, can someone?
Where the fuck am I?
I just gonna.
I was gonna say.
Go.
Wait, where
Got
the
it.
hell am I at?
Oh no, you fell.
Yeah, I don't know where I'm at. Oh, I'm down there.
You're in the
Okay.
truck, right? That's why I don't change my character, because I'll get lost like y'all. Oh. Yeah. We did it.
Oh shit.
Okay, bye.
Okay, bye. Throw it in. There we go. And this one we could throw too, right? Oh no, we don't have to. Let's go. This one we could easily do the pro time on this one.
Yeah, I didn't know what was going on for the first like 2 minutes. So.
Of course, we had assist on too, Rick, when we played, so it was a lot easier. To throw little curveballs at you on the harder difficulty.
The lead tech at Tesla had to go through 3 interviews and they hired me off 1, so feeling good about that. Yo, let's fucking go, Crit.
No one travels through the same portal more than once. So we can all go through each portal one time. We just have to be careful, like if something gets missed.
That we have to send somebody else to it.
Exactly.
I say we could ignore that one right now, though.
Yeah,
I
yeah.
say let's do that travel through every portal within 35 seconds.
Wow, the.
I guess we all pick a portal to jump through and just do it.
Is it everyone through every portal or anyone through every portal?
We don't
I just think
really
it's
know.
I hope it's just all of us as a
so
squad.
go to your corresponding portal, right? So I'm diamond.
I have to wait for mine
And
to
then
rotate.
work your way down.
What I'm gonna do is I'm gonna go to that green one, which is a tower, and then from the green one I'm jumping to the moon, and then from the moon into. Actually, no. From the green one I'm jumping to the pink triangle, and the pink triangle I could probably take the spade.
This is a lot of. I never was good at match.
I'm gonna wing it.
Yeah,
I love that. Yeah, I'm gonna wing it.
It's gonna be chaos, but I think we can do it.
All right, let's go.
Just gonna
35
jump
seconds.
through
Set. Go. Move. Oh, damn, I can't go there. Oh, wait.
Oh.
Oh, where'd I go?
Exactly. Where did I go? Who am
I
I?
literally can't find myself. Oh, there I am.
We're everywhere.
I think we did all the portals.
Probably. It's been 40 seconds. So. I'm gonna try to get the pro time now.
Yeah. I'm just throwing all my shit down to you guys.
Oh shit, I fell.
Oh damn. crazy that this turkey is a 2-person job, bro. How big is this damn turkey? Oh shit, I got you. Can someone go through the green square pointing towards the couch right now? There we go. Then we gotta take it down.
Went through that portal when I jumped.
Yeah, but you could go back in.
I don't know how far. Oh,
Yeah,
my God.
I know you're not that high right now, bro.
We just started. Come on.
I've been smoking for about 3 hours.
How do you get up there? Oh, okay. So you gotta go. Oh shit! I did the wrong one.
Look, can someone go through this moon? I got 2 furnitures here that need to be thrown.
No. I went.
You know what I'm gonna do? I'm gonna change it so that the 2-player things are it could be 1 player.
And then I keep losing myself after.
She's dead.
Alright. And then we got this.
Oh my God.
Yeah, no.
They threw me through the spade because I got too close to it.
Alright. There we go.
Yeah.
How do you get?
The green.
Fuck.
Let's throw this on top. Turn around a little bit. Yep. All right. Maybe this couch.
Oh, you motherfucker.
Maybe yeah. Yeah. All right.
I got it, Candy.
Thank you.
Hopefully. Oh, it's a throwable, and there's another item up here.
Okay, toss it down.
Hopefully it doesn't break. Yeah. Ah, it broke.
That item, I walked it all the way down by myself.
Yeah.
I'm going.
It's just a pain to get back to it. There you go, you got it. The last item.
Oh, last item. Hurry up, hurry up. We about to get the time.
I don't want to break it.
Run for your life.
There we go, pro time. We got it. And hopefully we got the 35-second thing.
Yeah.
Made my eyes burn.
Not Carly shitting on fucking Ecstasy's character though.
Ew.
Ecstasy's like, yo, I want to put portals in my apartment. And Carly's like, yo, you got a studio apartment, bro.
Alright. I had a studio apartment about 15 years ago. Nope.
Damn. Maybe it's just one person?
Maybe. We would have to figure out a route.
I think I know a route.
So you do that, and we'll get the shit.
So oh shit, I fell off. start again.
Wait, which one? What are we doing?
Trying to get through the portals in 35 seconds. But I think it
Okay,
has
I
to
was
be one person going through all of them. So I don't know if we all want to try to do it, but
I barely can tell where I am.
It's not me.
we get it?
I don't. I missed. I got every door but 2. I didn't get this star at all. So I know I didn't do it.
Like, aren't we supposed to hear like a sound?
I don't know.
Yeah, I'm gonna try one more time.
Pretty sure I hit every door except that star tower though.
All right, I'm going yellow star first.
Yep.
I think we hit them all.
Yeah, I think so.
Was that the sound?
Hit it, man. No, that might have been somebody putting something. So, not sure.
Damn.
Damn it, it fell off.
No. Someone come to me, green couch.
I both missed it.
Yo, both. Oh shit. Okay.
Oh, somebody's over
Shit.
there.
Good shit, Candy.
Maybe get out there.
Oh shit.
Wow.
Sorry. I'm here for you though. I'm here to catch it.
Don't fucking throw it at your face.
Oh, oh. There we go. All right, help her with that. I'm gonna go help X. Oh damn! Go on that.
Where's the moon at? Oh, there it is.
It keeps wanting to grab it on the side. You get too close to that portal, it'll suck you in. Oh, okay. Looks like I'll stand and wait if one of us falls. Hiya! I didn't make it. Where am I? Ow.
Hey, let's go. Yeah, we did that in under 4 minutes. I don't know if we got that last one, bro. Yes, let's go.
Yeah.
Hell yeah.
You want to try the no one travel through the same portal more than once?
It's up to y'all.
I can do it.
You think we could do it?
I think
so.
You know what? Hold on.
We could give it a try.
We just have to be like real methodical about it, like nobody running around crazy.
Yeah, we'll have to look.
Myself.
We're gonna do
But I'm here.
lighter 2-player items, all right? We're gonna do that. Lighter 2-player items.
I think
So
the
remember-
tricky one is going to be that diamond in front of us.
We could all go through the same portal, but not more than once.
Right.
So like all 4 of us could go through the
So
diamond
we-
once.
Should we stick together? Because there's some areas that have multiple items. And then that way we know that it's done.
All right, yeah, that sounds like a really good plan, actually. Remember, all 2-player weighted items are for 1 person now. So.
Okay, so.
I was gonna do green square first.
Okay.
All right, and then actually with this. Oh damn! I threw it off. Wait! Stay up there, guys. Yeah, there we go. Yeah.
Give me your ball.
Can I get this ball? Yes, I can.
Oh, nice.
I'm looking around. Can't use that door again.
So we got everything on this side except that couch that's all the way
Okay,
up
so
there.
I'm right here. We can go through the spade.
No, you could go to that shield one. Yeah, jump in there and then jump onto the couch thing on the. So
Okay,
somebody
come
go
with
with
me?
somebody go with Candy. Yeah, and then jump up there. There we go. Oh no. Okay.
Oh, no.
So it's your turn,
Actually-
X. It's on you. You gotta jump up there with her. There we go. Oh, no.
Let it go, Candy. Let it go. It'll just respawn.
Oh,
Don't let
shit.
yourself fall off. Couch will just reappear up there. Now we gotta try to get it without falling off.
We'll just push it off.
Yeah, push it off. There we go.
Then you grabbed it.
Yo. Okay, there we go.
There we go.
Okay.
Y'all gonna have to bring that all the way down by yourselves, I guess. Oh, actually, no, we're here too. We could.
Why is it wanting to throw it that way? It's wanting to throw it backwards. The X was like toward the waterfall. That is over here. Look.
There you go. Oh.
There we go. Ooh, almost. Oh, they did get it. Nice.
Nice. Okay, and then
You're gonna have to push it from the
we need
bottom.
to get that stuff on
Carly.
the island.
Push it from the bottom, Carly. Yeah.
Oh, that piece is back up top.
What piece is back on top? No, that's a different piece. That's from this now. So this is this.
Oh, okay. I see. I thought that was the same piece.
Did you just go to the square again?
No, I went through the yellow star.
Oh, okay.
So I'm gonna clean up everything here.
So how do I get to the moon?
It's through the blue square.
Okay.
You guys get? There's one right there. Okay.
This
See?
one?
There's another one over there.
And you gotta wait
There's
for
one
the
on the
tower
wall.
to spin the correct way.
Here, I'll help you throw this down.
I'm just gonna wait here.
Yeah, just let it go. Yeah. Okay.
Oh,
Oh.
Damn, okay, so Candy can't do that anymore. Alright, I'm gonna go for the 2 pieces of furniture.
Well, I haven't gone through the yellow star yet.
Oh, you haven't? Alright, so then do that.
No. Okay.
Then. So go now.
Wait, I'm not ready.
There we go. Okay, so I'm gonna meet you there. I'm here. Now let's go.
Okay.
Wait, but you already went through the moon though. That's the thing. You fell in the water.
Fuck.
All right, so somebody else has to come here with me then.
Oh, okay. So I
Oh,
haven't
you're already
gone
here.
through the
Okay.
pink triangle. I
Yeah,
can
I'm
go over
already
there and
here.
get that shit.
Oh shit!
Oh.
Damn. So that who does that leave? That
We're
leaves.
fucked.
At least
Oh,
Carly.
Carly still hasn't gone.
But she has to make the jump through that door, correct? Like, she falls in the water. That's it.
I don't like the way you said that.
It's easy. Yeah. See, I said that last game. You can get sucked into that door really easy. That's why I want to move that book
Shit,
away
I
from
was
it.
gonna say just throw that. Oh, I don't know. Hopefully, no. Actually, don't throw it now that you went down. Throw those. Yeah, throw those down. Yeah. Throw the other one all the way down too. Okay. And then bring that one with you. Yeah.
Have you went through that cross yet right there, Rick? I might gotta get that turkey up there.
Okay.
I can get it. Oh, fuck.
Shit. All right. So, damn, I can't go up
Alright,
anymore.
well, I'm gonna go
I've
get
been
the... I can go get this.
Oh, you could?
Yeah.
Okay, so
But I can't go back through the triangle.
Well, no, Carly or Ecstasy could do it because they have the spade door right there.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, but that spade shoots you straight out through that wood.
Oh shit!
How do you...
There's no way you could like navigate yourself to shift yourself or anything like that.
How do you get
Nah, but I haven't been through the triangles yet. So if I can get to that triangle door, I haven't been through the star yet either. I could still get the rest of the items. I could get to that item.
There's one right above us right here. This square right above the triangle.
This?
All right. Go, Carly.
I've not been through the
there
heart
we go.
yet.
Clutched it.
Yeah. Alright. So... Oh, no. Need to go through the star. Then drop down. Wait. I know, through the...
Oh, damn, it really does shoot you out. Damn, we're going to have to do this over again.
I don't know.
Well, has anybody not been through the pink triangle?
I haven't.
Oh, go through the
I
pink
don't
triangle.
think I have.
Yeah, but how do you get
Yeah.
there, though?
I'm trying to figure out how to get there.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like, we've already...
So, did you go through the...
Did you go through the yellow...
blue
Did you go
beetle?
through the yellow star yet?
No.
Alright, so go through yellow star, jump down, and then you see where the moon is? Try to jump across to, like... So, go down one more.
Yeah.
I'll see what
Try to
you're
jump
saying.
across, yeah.
And that's how I've been getting through to the pink triangle.
Oh, wait, hold on.
You
He's
kind of
high-
have to
he's high as
stand in
fuck
front
right
of
now.
the
Hold up.
tree.
There we go. There we
Oh,
go.
there you
Let's
go. There you go.
Alright, so wait. What sucks is this, though.
Oh, there's something above the doors, too.
Yeah, there's something above the doors.
Damn.
But, I mean, Carly, did you get through did you do the yellow thing yet, or no?
Yeah.
Oh, you did.
Yeah.
Damn. So, yeah, we do have to start all over.
Yeah, we'll just have to
Wait.
start
Let's
over.
just think. Oh. I still had a portal. I was trying
portal
to see
did
if
you
it was
have?
like... I had the heart. I was like looking to see how I could jump. Okay.
This hurts my brain.
Alright, I'm going green first. I'm gonna throw everything down that I possibly can.
Yeah, I'm like, I don't want to move.
Right?
Alright, so
I want to see how much Rick can get first.
by myself, I could get a good amount. I could get this, I could get this.
Yeah. And then go to the ball right there.
I'm at the couch if anybody wants to come meet me.
Hey, yo.
And then... Wait, let me catch it.
You know what? And then from here, I'm going... Oh, damn.
Oh, could have jumped back.
That's alright.
Yeah.
Alright, so somebody else is gonna have to do pink to get the things above the doors.
Okay, I can... Let me do this pink.
Or Carly or
I'm gonna do
Ecstasy could do the jump.
Yeah,
Get the turkey. Try to get the turkey, Candy. Nice. Drop that down too. All right. Now drop down and get the target on the wall, and then throw that shit. Throw that bitch as far down as you possibly can. Whoever's up there, yeah, Ecstasy, just throw it as far down as you possibly can. You know what? I'll help you with this, X.
I don't want to. Yeah, I was about to say I don't want to let go of this. Like I was gonna come down
just
and
take that. Yeah, take that all the way down with you. Just take that all the way to the truck with you. Just walk it down.
Yep.
All right. Green plus sign takes you up there. Okay, I'm going to the red room real quick.
I'm gonna go through this part.
No, that's where I'm at already.
Oh, you got it. Okay. I'm gonna go to the moon.
I'm gonna smoke a lot of weed to do that.
Fly to the moon.
How many people didn't go to Pink Triangle yet? Because we still had the thing above the doors.
I haven't gone through the triangle.
I have.
I have not.
Okay. Trying to get this.
Hiya!
Oh, I have.
That was a weak throw. We'll go on to the 1, 2.
Let's go, Carly.
Hold up, Candy. Be careful.
Oh,
Only one of us
clutch,
can.
bro.
Yeah.
Put some
One of us
respect
can
on
grab
her name.
that. I don't want her to accidentally back up through that door. 1, 2.
Okay. And then.
Right, that's it. Just those 2 pieces.
That's
that we
it.
just heard.
What's up by the door?
Hi.
Oh, that was sad.
All right, hold on. We gotta throw this. I think we gotta throw this.
Hey, how y'all doing?
And then we have to throw this one too. Let's go. I think we did.
Let's go. Yeah, we did.
Dwight, welcome on in, bro.
If we didn't do it, they robbed us.
Hey.
They got us. Level 8 right there. I didn't grab that arcade cartridge.
Not for nothing, we're godly, yo.
Yeah, that was clean.
Chat, we did that after not playing the game for 5 years, bro. Alright, so you said we can get the arcade game now? Oh, that's right. This takes place in 1984, right?
Mm-hmm.
You've broken way more than just 4
love
walls.
The unicorn.
Hey, yo.
I got some walls you can break.
Hey, yo. Okay, we... Clubhouse for a friendly coven of witches.
What's that sound?
That's my character made that sound. You need to
know what
chill.
she's doing.
Oh, we get a gnome in this one though. Do you know what the extras are, X?
Yeah. We gotta slap all 5 cuckoo clocks. Get the birds to come out of them.
Okay.
That's one of them. Another one is break all the stained glass.
Done. Easy.
And the hardest one on there is, where is it? Complete the level without using the heart portal.
Without using
That's
the heart
hardest
one?
Yeah, and it's not that hard, honestly. I've done all of them on this level.
I got something hard you could do.
Hey, yeah.
All right. Wait, where's the heart portal?
Switch.
Oh, they switch.
Right next to us. Yeah, they switch.
Oh, the fucker! You look like okay.
That's some bullshit.
I'd say don't worry about that one on the first one.
The heart one? Okay.
Just get used to the level on one run and then maybe do that on the
Where
second
are
run. I mean, we could try not to hit it, but if we do, the purple clocks, 5 of them. We don't have to take them with us. We just have to slap them.
Oh, I love this light item. This is lovely.
Okay, I slapped one. No shit. Okay.
What was that?
Oh, I hit the wrong. Damn it. Ah, you hit the wrong door. No, don't pull that, Carly. You gotta go through the purple whenever the door is closed to get to that telescope.
Harley that ass said, you know my dad pulled it anyway. Got fucking sent.
No, she just went through the wrong
It's open.
when it rotated. There you go. You gotta do it when that door is closed, right? So we can get that telescope.
Oh, okay, I got it. All right.
That's what I kept messing up the timing. There's a cuckoo clock up there too in the corner.
This?
Up there where y'all at. Right here in the corner, right next to.
Oh, okay.
And there's stained glass right there next to you as well, right?
Oh shit, I went through this thing.
I need to go through. Yeah.
Where the fuck is the other side of the pink triangle at?
The pink triangle, you see that little island on the left?
Alright, to get to that one, we gotta go back to that. I don't know. Gotta have that facing. Yeah, you got it. Hit that switch, Rick, at the bottom, right.
Okay.
Why do so many of these people have giant teeth in their house?
Oh, you bitch.
We could have the pro time. This is the last item, I think. We missed the pro time by like 5 seconds. That's not bad though.
Oh, did we?
Did anybody use the heart portal?
I didn't.
Nope.
Yeah, I did.
Oh, 11 seconds. Oh, so then somebody did use it. Break all the stained glass windows. We didn't do that. Damn, I thought that was easy claps, girls.
I thought I broke everything.
Is there one that is like not so obvious? I see the one on the top left.
There's the one on them towers. That's like when you shoot through it, you break it.
So the one on the top left right there. There's... Oh,
how do I get to that tower?
That big tower one, right?
Oh, I gotta go to the yellow star.
Yeah, I broke that one.
Oh, the yellow star, the moon one? Okay.
Me and Carly went through that at the beginning.
And then there's that glass stain right there, top right.
Right here.
I broke that one.
This one.
Oh, and the bottom. I wonder if that one counts. The bottom right. There's a big glass window.
Okay.
It's a glass window though. It's not a stained glass, is it?
Maybe they're
It
counting
looks yellow.
Oh, I see the one with the pink couches.
Yeah, that's the only one I'm not aware of that we didn't break.
What's that all the way in the top left? Y'all see it? It's like a separate door all the way by itself in the top left. I'll show you right now. Not this island. All right, look to the island on the left. You see?
Oh, where the ladder is. How the fuck you get over
Is that
there?
anything or no?
I don't think so.
Or it's just decoration? Okay.
Oh, I forgot where it's from.
So no heart.
Hey, I know.
There's a hat over here that's following me. Who the fuck is this hat?
I'll have you last time.
I just broke those two windows when I went through that door for the tower.
The corner.
They put me at. Almost into that heart.
Damn it!
Okay.
That was me.
Oh. I used the heart thing on accident.
Oh, it's all right. So for this one, we could do the stained glass and the proton. So we're still getting shit done. I'm leaving so much shit in the middle for y'all. I'm just gonna break every glass I see. I think we got all the glass. Someone throw this with me. Oh my god. Oh shit, where did I get stuck to? I'm here. Alright.
Oh, there's still pieces of stuff.
Oh shit.
Well, they won't let us all jump over it. Purple.
Alright. So we should have gotten the pro time and the stained glass. Let's go.
Oh, we got two.
Alright, so now just let's not touch the heart and we be good.
It's so much easier now when the two-person things are not two-person things.
Yeah, I mean, I like that you still have to throw them with 2 people, but yeah.
Yeah.
Because they don't make it too easy.
Right.
Hey.
How do I get out of here?
There you go. Open
the door.
Yeah, there you go. That's what I was having trouble with this room. That bottle break. That bottle just broke. Door's gonna close.
Oh, open the door first, then. Yeah. Grab that bottle and go out. Both doors, go out both doors. Yep. Damn.
Cha-chung.
All right, no one hit the heart, right?
I didn't.
No, I don't think so.
Let's go.
Nice. Smash the pro time too.
Fast as fuck, boy.
610. We need 6 more. There's still one more gnome here. We got that. Do this, yeah, we got that. Did that. Oh, there's a moon one up here.
Go up.
Yeah, big ass gnome up there. What is this?
They're just decoration.
Hello, sir.
Take a hit to that.
Okay.
Breezy Bazaar. There's a challenge on here called Deliver the Meat.
Hey, yo.
Meat.
Oh, I see Kraken tentacles.
Hentai.
Stop watching porn on stream.
Sorry.
We gotta smash all the pots. Basically, like, see those fans? We gotta raise ourselves up and grab onto those ropes. Pull all that stuff down.
Damn, that room has all breakable shit, bro.
Fuck.
Nice. So we need to deliver all the meat, which is a whole chicken, a steak, and a ham. 3 pieces. We need to smash all the pots that are hanging. And the first thing we need to deliver is a live chicken.
Alive? That's the first thing we need to deliver? Where
A
do we
live chicken.
Is it these big purple things?
It should be a blue. There it is. The blue chicken right there.
Oh, shit. Okay.
So we gotta be like Rocky, catch the chicken.
Yeah, that's the first thing we need to do is grab that.
Get that fucking cock.
Yeah, get him. He's a wiggly little bastard. Okay. Now we basically can just...
He escapes.
We got 2 fans.
He escapes. So is that okay?
That's okay. That's fine. It counts as delivered. Even when you have like items disappear on delivery, he still does that. Like he won't disappear.
Wait, there's another one over here. Got it.
Stay by the truck. Go where my X is. All right, ready? Got it. That's one. Okay, hold on. I'll throw another one at you. Oh, you never dropped the ball.
Oh!
Are you ready? Harley, you got. Oh no, she come out here. All right, you ready? There we go. And then this.
Okay, okay. It broke. That's cool.
Broke?
Oh, that's the breakables.
Yeah.
Yeah, I got the big chicken. Got the big. All we need is that big chicken hanging up in the center of
Yeah,
that.
bro. What the fuck? Alright, so we gotta deliver meats.
Just got that big one in the center. Just a turkey. Whatever. The other 2 are already in there.
Okay, I got the turkey.
That challenge. And we gotta break all the pot.
I'm struggling over here.
Really? Just to get this one low pot.
Got it.
Yeah, we need to get up in Oh, they got a character crate right here hiding in the corner. Oh.
Got it.
I'm throwing shit to the middle for you guys.
There's one more pot there still too.
I won't let me knock this over.
Come on, let me jump. Yeah, I might need someone to come in here. You gotta throw this, yeah. It won't let me, Thank you.
We got this big table up here that's still grab.
How are we supposed to bring these things over?
We're gonna have to throw them. We just room up here.
Well, let's throw it. Nice, good job.
How do we do this?
Oh. Oh yeah, I got it.
No, we didn't.
Magnet? Oh, just a statue. Got him. I don't see nothing hanging. That last piece that y'all got up there.
You want to throw it? You can throw. Oh. There we go.
No hit back.
So we got the cock, we got the meat. Well, man, we could have had a pro time actually.
Yeah. You don't have to pay attention to the pots now. Oh. Not even an item.
Oh hell yeah, we got everything except for real time.
Yeah.
Yeah, so now we don't have
Black
to grab.
whiskers. Kitty cat.
Aww. That cat looks mangy as fuck.
The one on the right.
Got on the Hulk Hogan feathers.
Hey, yo, we're playing with his feet. Y'all want to try for pro time?
Yeah. Because now we don't have to grab the pots or the meat. Because those weren't actually deliverable.
Grab the meat was Rick's nickname in college.
Sure was.
The sheet.
Okay. You want to just catch what I throw, or? Oh my god. Okay, Carly.
Wee.
Right there, Carly, stay there. Oh my god, Carly. Carly's like a bull in a fucking china shop, bro. She walked in there.
Like, fuck all this shit up.
It just broke mad shit. Somebody, my ex right there, please.
Yeah.
Alright, well, fuck me, man.
Look how many I got done, how many you got done.
Facts.
Well, I was waiting for you, okay?
That's your first row.
That's the one thing we don't do, Carly.
Throw the fucking couch.
Gotta go across to that other side still and get those 2-player items.
Oh, that table did not even need to go in here.
Oh shit.
Come here, chicken. Damn. I was trying to help and I made it worse.
Thanks.
Ah, you piece of junk couch. This is in my damn way.
What the fuck? Hello?
I'm trying to turn to you. Okay, there we go.
There we go. There we go. There we go. I don't know why it's putting on
Alert,
X.
man.
There we go.
Catch.
I didn't make it.
Let's go.
Yeah, boy.
Wait, what do you mean these schools are nuts? What's happening?
Burn the evidence.
Oh, with the names y'all be getting in college? Yeah, that's Carly. That's Carly and Candy, bro. That's.
Hey.
I ain't shaming. I ain't shaming. You need to get. You get to make items levitate this time?
Is it his toes?
That's crazy.
I was a D student too.
You need to